Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another exclusive live on MeTV this Sunday. I'm not going to be speaking too much, but I just want to get to introducing our amazing guest for today. He is amazingly talented and he's a music producer. Well, when you meet him, you can definitely tell that he's nothing like the ordinary people that we see out there. His music speaks louder than words. Without further ado, I would like to welcome Mohit Pandit.
Hi, Manasa. Thank you so much for such a lovely introduction.
I was like, okay, I'm doing good so far. I hope I didn't stammer anywhere. How are you,
Mm.
Mohit?
Very good, very good, very good. How are you?
I'm doing great, thank you. How has COVID been treating you?
Very bad, actually. It's been what 4 months now, and
Yeah.
this especially the second spike is taking too much toll. Not on just me, but in entire Melbourne, to be honest.
Yeah.
Uh, and I don't know where is there's still hope, but I don't know where.
Yeah, wait, how long it's gonna go for? Yeah.
Yeah, and especially because of our production, because we kind of had to delay production for all this lockdown period. Earlier, we were planning to have a release of entire season of 32 songs this December for
Oh.
Melody Theatre, but I'm not sure whether we'll be able to pull it off this year.
I
Yeah.
think the lockdown conditions have affected the artists a lot in general, and with the laws and everything making it like, oh, we're non-essential workers, right? So it's become twice as hard. So what have you been doing to keep yourself motivated?
Well, my only motivation is music, so my motivation is much more simpler. So I just keep on making music. So keep it simple. Keep on working on new melodies and some new guitar riffs or whatever new technology that comes into music. Try to learn it. Try to see where because especially in music, technology changes like every 4 weeks.
True, true.
So the guitar patch that you were already working on and the technology has already moved forward, and whatever equipment you already have is all gone.
Outdated already, yeah.
Yeah, so you got to keep
True.
yourself right on the top. So thankfully, internet, YouTube helps you a lot to discover about new things and keep learning them, and that keeps me sane.
That's amazing. And have you been collaborating with other artists? Because I saw your Facebook page. You have had worked with a lot of people. Have you had the chance to do it during lockdown?
Uh, most of the stuff that we have posted I was actually recorded live, but they've been recorded in past. They're not like real time live. What we're seeing right now. So not essentially in lockdown, but yeah, they were pre-recorded sessions. We only started posting them out during lockdown.
Oh, okay, okay, that makes sense. So let's go a bit back in time, and can we talk about how this craze started for music?
Well, my my family is a typical North Indian Brahmin family.
Oh,
Uh, so music and arts and all that jazz was a strict no. It's very different from South India. So our focus of the family is getting kids educated, and then you become an engineer or a doctor or whatever. But don't look onto that artist side at
yeah.
all. Um but because my father was very keen on music, he was always listening to good music, and we always had this good sound happening in the house. So I started following that music from there. Initially, I was at a very young age. I used to be a ghazal singer, so I used to sing a lot of ghazals that time. And then as you navigate through the streets of life, new music starts bursting out, and you meet new people, they introduce you new stuff. you
Hmm.
know First time you go to engineering college, you find people. I'm actually from a very small town in UP, and first time I got into engineering college, I found people from Delhi and Bangalore and Mumbai, and these were completely different people,
True. Yeah.
and they bring their own kind of influences, their own kind of music. The first time, like, I heard Metallica, I was blown away that there is something that exists like this.
Yeah.
For me, English music was only Saturday night. Okay. Uh, and then later on, I found so much into it. And then from ghazal singer, I became almost singing rock all the time. Uh, so it's like a journey. You keep exploring, you keep finding out, different streams and different kind of music. And I kept following it. uh, at the same time, I also had to follow my corporate career, so I did my studies, went abroad, lived in UK for a couple of years. Did everything, what an ideal
Yeah.
son should do.
Yeah.
uh, yeah. And one day I finally realized that, possibly taking orders is not my thing. So I just decided, to quit so-called corporate career and get into academic career, and which could also give me some time to focus on my music. And
True.
that's how I
Yeah.
switched from corporate to academic. I came here in Australia, did my PhD, uh, and that helped me in switching this whole thing. And yeah, uh, right now quite a bit focused on music and making some original music.
That's amazing. So you mentioned about how you changed, your way of singing, like you explored and you went into different genres of it, right? So who would you call your, let's say, guru? Who did you learn from?
To be honest, I actually didn't learn anything. I'll share an experience with you. What
Sure.
what happened with me? I was 16 years old, and my friends told me that. And at 16 years old, I won a national singing competition, and my friends told that, now you should take it very seriously and you should go and learn. Like you should go and learn sargam and rag and all that jazz. And I got convinced and said, yes, I should go and do it.
Yeah.
So in my small town, I found somebody who was teaching classical music, and I just bunked my tuition and went to this guy and paid 300 rupees that time and said, I want to learn. And he said, yeah, fine, that's fine. Come from tomorrow and, you can join. So I started going there. So the first time I sat down there, there were like 20 kids sitting in the same room, and this Guruji is sitting on harmonium and he's making everybody singing sa. So that sa thing went on for 1 hour, and I thought, okay, today's sa today would be something else,
Yeah.
So for 7 days, sa re ga ma pa da, and then we'll move on to something big. And the
Yeah.
second day I went there, it was again sa. Third day I went, it was again sa. Okay, and I was just bored. I couldn't take this slow process of chiseling up the sand. And I went to Guruji and said, I can't do this sa thing, and I want to learn that what you teach to that guy. There was a guy who used to learn the whole sargam
Oh,
uh,
okay.
from him, so he was given special treatment, and he has been student for like 10 years now. So I said, I want to learn that, not this crap. I don't want to follow this. And he just got pissed
Paste.
and he
Yeah.
said, you can't do this and blah blah blah. There's a format that you have to follow and all that jazz. And he said, you want to sing like this guy, you know? Okay, sing along with him. So the idea was that he would sing some part, and then I have to follow that part,
Hmm.
and then he'll sing again, and I'll follow that part. So we did the same thing. And he sang a couple of lines, and I performed it exactly like what he did, and that pissed off Guruji further. Uh,
He's like, how did he get it right?
yeah, so he thought
Yeah.
I'm like from some rival group or something, or
Mm.
so he literally, verbally thrashed me. Uh, Thankfully, I didn't lose my confidence there,
Good. Yeah.
but then I understood this learning thing is possibly not my thing. You know, so I took everything on my own. So I later on in life I picked up guitar on my own. I picked up everything on my own. There are a lot of inspiration, but there's not like one hero I would say. This
Yeah.
is the person I follow. You know, I may have followed a few people for a very very short period of time, for just for the sake of learning. Like I followed a lot of Western rockers when I was trying to learn growling, which is a Western vocalist technique. And I actually lost a lot of my good quality of vocal, Indian vocal, because of
Oh,
growling.
oh,
But that's an influence. You are somewhere in, towards final year of your engineering, and you are with all these IITs and IIMs, and you go to these fests, and you try to impress, and you try to impress everybody,
yeah,
and you see, I used to have these long hairs, just like a rock star. So, what you're looking at is, those 10 beautiful girls in the crowd,
yeah,
trying to impress them. That's your motto in life. But then this motto changes, like every 6 months.
step,
You'll
yeah,
be looking into something else. You know,
true, true.
so that's what happened. So there's no like one person I followed, but yeah, I just learned it with here and there everywhere.
That's amazing. You know how nowadays, like a lot of artists also, they resort to YouTube as their way of learning. Would you call yourself like one of the products of YouTube?
Look, in my actual learning time, YouTube wasn't there. So, principally not. But
Yeah,
YouTube actually helps me a lot with technological part.
yeah,
Uh, like just before coming to this stream, I actually had to search on YouTube how to add mixer vocals to a live feed. It's a simple thing, but just doesn't strike you like how it should be done. So yeah, in a way, it's YouTube is more of a technology guru for me than music. But if it's just music, I don't need YouTube or anything online.
yeah. That makes sense. Yeah. And can you tell me what is it about music that really connects with you? What component of it really resonates with you?
I would say, look, music is not something materialistic, and the other word for music is actually God. So it's more of a spiritual thing than just saying it, that what music gives you. Music doesn't really give anything. you know it actually places you in one dimension. It's a new dimension altogether, and it's a spiritual dimension, and not following just one particular god. It's spiritual in its own way. So
Yeah,
it puts you in one dimension, a new dimension, where it's a self discovery thing. you
yeah,
get to you get to cleanse your character. You got to cleanse your whatever you have done so far, and strike back, and think forward and see, what are the things that I've done wrong, what are the
yeah.
things that I've done good, what are the things that I should be doing good
Hmm.
in future. If you're really a good musician, you would be able to find that dimension clearly.
Hmm.
If you And it is very different from, I would say, uh so-called musicians, because people who
Hmm.
just can sing on iPhone and say, you know this is a cover song that I've just played. you
Yeah.
know have a look, and I'm possibly looking for 20-30 likes on Facebook. That is very materialistic. But when you move beyond that, how you find God in your music is very very different.
True.
And it also happens, with your age,
Hmm.
with what you learn. uh, I just want to give a quick shout out to my friend Gaurav. Thank
Yeah,
you,
I
man.
would.
Thank you so much. He's my college friend.
Oh,
uh,
amazing, amazing.
yeah, and a very
You
close one.
guys know each other for so long.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So, Gaurav would remember such a time when, we were playing music, but we were playing music for what? What was the objective? The objective was to impress girls.
Yeah.
That was the objective. But then, you move on life and then find out, oh, okay, this is something, for a very different level. Like when you're a kid, when you are somewhere around 12 or 13, you would never understand a ghazal.
Hmm.
But the moment you have your first rejection in love, all of a sudden you understand every bloody word in the ghazal, right?
True, true.
or when somebody, the first time you drink with friends, you understand the words like paimana, jam, stuff like that,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
otherwise it doesn't have any meaning for you, you know
True,
so
true.
music is very, very spiritual in its own way. It For me at least, it has given me an opportunity to kind of cleanse everything, whatever I've done so far, and
Hmm.
it gives me a new dimension each time I'm composing, that
Yeah.
this is something that I should be doing in future.
Yeah, yeah, that's amazing. So you mentioned about the covers, right? That some musicians do out there where they just pick a song and they're like, hey, you know what? I did this. And then they're like a few likes and shares and they're content with that. So,
Hmm.
do you think, what is your take on this? That do you feel like originality is slowly fading away these days?
To put it in the right context, you see how many songs in 2019 that were produced in Bollywood were original, not even
Oh,
20%.
oh, yeah, yeah. All remix. Yeah, yeah.
Right? Now there is a marketing element behind it.
Hmm.
Uh, the reason why music labels want to produce cover music is because they already own the rights, so there is no money to be spent on it.
True.
Then whatever the streaming revenue would come only to them. And then with iconic songs that have already been produced, there is a recall value to it.
Yeah,
Like they produced a song called Aankh Mare or Ladki Aankh Mare, but there's a recall value to it. And 90s kids would just blast off on this kind of music. But then for new musicians or new singers, it's also an entry level, like getting into the zone and getting into the music. But at some point of time, I think all musicians, all singers, either you play an instrument or you sing, or in creative form of, probably of any art form, even if you are a painter, for how long you will be imitating other art forms, for how long you will be copying the other the other image,
yeah,
so for
yeah.
at one level you have to cross that threshold and tell yourself that, boy, this is not going to happen.
True,
You have to kind of jump the wall and say, now I'm going to be the original creator.
yeah.
you know? Back in the days, well, long back, we used to listen to these Pakistani bands, and they used to come with such an amazing music,
Hmm.
just sitting on the lounge, like right at the time when YouTube was in first or second year phase, and we used to see these crappy quality videos, but the music was amazing.
Yeah.
Bands like Rosen, 12 boys sitting on guitar and just making music.
Hmm.
uh, and that is an important threshold, or an important milestone, I would say, to crossover, like from already making cover songs to
Yeah.
a crossover to making original songs.
Hmm.
Okay. And till the time there is no original content coming, that means that the society is not progressing. You are not moving in time. You're just stuck
Yeah.
with old stuff. I'm not saying singing cover songs is wrong. I would love to sing cover songs, but the problem is, there are two problems. First, I lose my original identity,
Hmm.
and then I would be compared with the original singer or whatever, that people. So you actually expose yourself to be compared. And the second thing is, the technological world will not let you do it. So by the time I post uh, a cover song, there would be music label and singer and copywriters and blah blah
Copyright.
blah,
Yeah.
all getting onto my head and say, this is our track, and you can't. There are a lot of examples. There are a lot of good singers who posted a lot of content which was cover song, and then when they became famous,
Hmm.
uh,
Yeah.
the music label actually summoned them and sent them legal notices of rupees 1 crore plus amount
Oh.
to be paid to the label, because they said you became famous because of our songs.
Oh
So
my God.
even if I admire someone today, for example, let's say I want to dedicate a song to Hariharanji,
Hmm.
and it's just pure out of love, what he does with his silk vocals and things like
True.
that.
Yeah.
uh, and he's one of the names I've tried learn.
Hmm.
even if you genuinely want to do a dedication, that dedication will not reach out to him, because it will all be impounded by all these music labels, because the
Yeah.
song belongs to them. So the song doesn't belong to the singer, the song doesn't belong to anyone. It's the
Hmm.
music label who owns everything. you know
True.
and if the music label owns everything, they know how to take the juice out of the whole thing.
Yeah.
So they keep an eye on everyone, that who's making cover song, and what is going. If it is good, it will go viral.
Hmm.
There is a recall value to it.
Yeah.
So I can pick up a traditional kawali, and compose it and rearrange it and take it to a different level. And if it's good, it will go viral. But the moment it goes viral, the music label is after my
Music
life.
labels. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
So
have you had the prior experience of working with labels?
I have, look, again, it's phase of life. So
Oh,
uh,
okay. That means you have.
yes, yes, yes. Initially when you start making music, the
Yeah.
first thing that you say is, oh, I should reach out to these big labels, because I'm doing something amazing, so possibly I have a door, therein. With technology right now, there are ways to reach out. So you can tweet, you can send a comment to them, you can, like on Instagram, you can send instant message and stuff like that. So which has made life easier to reach out to these people. But the time when they start sending you details on the contract, you know
Oh,
that time you find, oh, this is something, I possibly, like, personally, I didn't want it to be a part of it. For example, the first time a record label sent me a contract, they said, okay, so they're not going to pay anything for the music that has been produced. They're not going to pay anything for the video. Like, there was approximately, that time I'm talking about 5 years back, $10,000 being put into a video.
hmm.
uh, uh, just the video, and the audio is separate anyway.
Yeah.
And then there's no publication cost that they will be paid. So what they do is, they will only publish the track on their YouTube channel, and
Hmm.
for that they will sign a contract, and all the right of the song belongs to them. Right of the song belongs to them is that means that even they have the right to publish it or not to publish it. There is
Oh,
no legal binding that they will take the rights and then they will publish your song. So what they can do is, if the song is very good, they can take the track, they can take the copyrights, and then sell it out to somewhere in Bollywood.
oh, okay.
Okay.
Oh, I
A
didn't know
similar
this actually. I always thought that the singer also equally had the rights to the song.
No, no, no. So that's the problem. That's happened with one of the Punjabi songs.
Hmm.
So I don't recall his name, but there was a Punjabi song. It was very famous song, and
Hmm.
it was bought by, obviously, the record label. And the record label, I think, sold the song to this movie called Airlift.
Oh, I live.
Uh,
Yeah. The
yeah,
Akshay Kumar one, right?
yeah, the Akshay Kumar one. So the original song, I think, was called Soch. Uh, yeah, it was called Soch.
Hmm.
And then the new song in Airlift was had different lyrics. It has Hindi lyrics, and I think Arijit sang it, or maybe somebody else. I don't recall it properly, but the original singer wasn't there,
Oh,
and the original composer was not even informed that this track is being placed in Airlift,
yeah.
and he didn't earn anything from Airlift by selling the track to them. Plus, there was no credit. So there was no credit to the original composer or original singer, and that's how this music mafia operates. Once the rights are sold, it is completely up to them to publish it, not publish it. The money is completely yours. You will not even receive a percentage of the monetization that they would do on a video. Like, for example, if I launch a video tonight, I would have
Yeah.
1,000 views, in a week, and out
Hmm.
of 1,000 views, you make nothing. Okay,
Hmm. Hmm.
but for a serious big channel, they would have at least, even if the song is crap, they will have
Yeah.
2 million views easy in a week.
True. True. That's
Okay,
yeah.
and then you can easily equate how much money that they would generate just by publishing a crappy video, not even a good one. And if it's a good
Yeah.
one, then you're talking about 30, 50 million views, easy.
Hmm.
you know
Yeah.
so that's the nexus that you have to fight with,
Mm.
with these record label companies. I get it that they have business to do, but at the same time, the nexus is quite close knit and quite controlled, so
Mm.
it's very difficult to crack.
Yeah, yeah. That was very well explained actually. Now that we are talking about such important things, I also wanted to ask you about like the music industry in Bollywood itself. At least this is my opinion that it's been a bit degrading recently, with just 2019 being full of remixes. There was absolutely nothing original. There was one thing original and then it'll go back to, oh, this was already done. So let's say artists like let's say Bacha or even Yo-Yo Honey Singh is back. He came up with a song called Loka recently. So what is your take on, let's say, upcoming like new artists who are taking over Bollywood now?
See, there's one very principal problem in Bollywood. That is that the music label gets to define, or the producer gets to define, what kind of music that should come out. Okay, it's exactly like, you go to a doctor and tell him, write this particular medicine in the prescription. Instead of he writing whatever he wants to give you, you tell him this is what I want, and
Hmm,
I know my symptoms, so I don't have to tell you.
hmm,
All I want is this. And there is this is formula thing, like item numbers. It's a formula. Okay,
yeah,
so an item girl with like a peppy number with some rap fused into it, and an international level model with some short clothing stuff, and that's a formula which is already there, and
yeah,
people and the producer would like to encash it, in some form or the other. So most of these new artists, or these are actually not new artists, they've been into industry for 10 plus years, like Honey Singh and Badshah.
yeah,
uh, Look, they have come to terms that what to survive in the industry, they have to do this.
yeah,
you know I don't know them personally, but I'm very sure that they are capable of writing stuff which is much high level.
hmm,
you know uh, Particularly Bacha, I know that he can write stuff which can be very
yeah,
great.
true,
Like the words that he wrote for the song in Shivai. So somebody who can write stuff on Shivji.
yeah,
He can write stuff. That means there is a capability, but the Bollywood is not giving you an opportunity to come out with your own ideas. The Bollywood tell you, this is what you have to write. This
hmm.
is what you have to come up with something, which has got a hook onto it. you know
Oh,
don't
yeah,
get don't give me sensible music. you know and there's two type of music. One is which is music for the body, and then is music for the soul. So Bollywood is all about music for the body. They don't care about the soul. you know
yeah, that's well said, yeah,
even in a Western culture, even if you go around Australia and you ask about Bollywood music, they can't imagine the seriousness of the work that has already been put up in a lot of number of songs,
yeah,
other than the dancing numbers. But you go in festivals and you see only those dancing numbers and nothing else.
yeah,
They would never know names like Jagjit Singh Saab.
hmm,
They would never know names like Rekha Bharadwaj. Well, they would know because she would have done one or two odd songs, item numbers. But primarily, it is the Producers Guild which is stopping people from being creative.
yeah,
So it's exactly the same analogy. You go to a doctor and tell him, "This is the medicine I want," uh,
hmm,
instead of using a doctor's service. So there are a lot of good, superb music directors, and they do original work, like Vishal and Shekhar,
hmm,
or Shankar Ehsaan Loy. These are the guys who are
yeah,
not doing anything like a remix crap,
yeah, it's all original, yeah,
but even they are minded by the level of work they can put in. You give them a
hmm,
little bit of freedom on a music project, and you will see how they change the soundscape.
amazing,
People like Amit Trivedi, you know
no, yeah, yeah,
uh, a guy who represents Sound of India. He put together all the states music together and just present it in such a brilliant format. But
true,
you gotta give them space.
hmm,
You gotta give them. You gotta Somehow they are able to survive because they're able to compromise. People like me who have no uh, space for compromise would always stay out. But
Yeah.
if you can compromise a bit, you can always navigate in. You can
Yeah, yeah. If you think about it, whether it's passion or let's say money, if you always tend to choose passion, I guess you don't want to compromise these things, just to be out there and be famous, right? So have
look
you? Sorry, yeah, go on.
look look. The thing is, money is a very important part in life,
I agree. Yeah.
and to strike money with music, again, you got to be in the right age. There's always a fan following thing that happens with an artist. It happens
Yeah.
at an age. You're 24, 25, you're chocolate looking, and you've got a voice, you've got a personality, and blah 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 blah, and you go
Yeah.
around. But look, for personally for me, I've realized making money is possibly not going to happen with music. So I've realized it already. So if it happens, very good. If it doesn't happen, then I'm fine with it. For me, making music is more important than the money part of it.
Yeah.
There have been instances I've worked with Bollywood producers, Bollywood directors.
Oh.
They would take the music, and then there would be talks around money, and then it gets little on the saddest part, and then they would disappear. And then there are instances where I have sent legal notices not to publish my music, otherwise
Oh.
I'm going to take it in the wrong direction. But uh, and there's another big problem with, especially with me, is that people sitting in Mumbai thinks, oh, he's from Melbourne, so he's already got the money. So there's
Yeah.
no there's no need to pay him. uh,
Yeah.
uh, it's not that I'm running after money. I've pulled out a song from a very big Bollywood movie 3-4 years back, not because of money, but then why should I be working for free? Why should I be
Somebody
given
agrees
that
with your
fee?
opinion.
I have put my soul into it. You
Yeah.
don't want to give me credits. You don't want to publish my name. You don't want to do anything. At least freaking give me money.
Hmm.
You know. But if it doesn't happen, a good part is a lot of artists, and I would recommend a lot of good artists, even the ones which are full time. You should always have a parallel skill so that you have a money stream coming in. I have a different job
Yeah.
to get the money in my life, and
Hmm.
then all that money gets spent in the studio.
Hmm.
Uh, and the studio and the equipment and the technology is money guzzlers. They eat money like Godzilla. Uh, but yeah, the money part is tricky, but if you have something like a parallel stream running, so you can keep following your passion. You
True.
would not die out of hunger. People who are in Mumbai, this is the
Hmm.
only skill they have, you
Hmm.
know and you can't do other stuff. uh,
Yeah.
but this is the benefit of at least being here, that you can do other stuff, and still make music.
Yeah, yeah. So you've seen how the music has developed, let's say in India, and now that you're here in Melbourne, how different is it, like the industry itself?
Look, to be honest, for other than Bollywood, the
Yeah.
independent industry is quite low or quite slow, to be honest.
Hmm.
The
I agree.
industry, there's no industry as such, no Indian music industry as such in
Hmm.
Australia. Like, we have the biggest project, Melody Theatre, that we are producing here in Melbourne, but other than that, I've not seen any big production. I would
Hmm.
love to see, but there's actually no one doing big time music production here for an Indian language. Not even Tamil, Telugu,
Hmm.
Kannada, nobody. You know,
Hmm.
but if you want to compare just the independent music is still lagging behind by maybe easy 20-25 years
Whoa.
in comparison to Bollywood music, because the industry is driven by Bollywood.
Yeah, that's another thing. Yeah.
you know so I don't know how, but somehow appearing on TV is still important. So you could be a good YouTube rock star, but if you haven't appeared on MTV, you are still out of the league.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, whereas there's nobody watching MTV anymore. Like I don't know anybody in my network who watches MTV, but still, if you have not appeared of MTV, it's not happening. You know,
Yeah. True.
so there's a balance that you need to find. Uh, Appearing on television is important if you really want to make money
True. True.
out of it. Yeah, but the industry, there's no industry as such, but the problem is because people are not focusing on original. You can't make an industry with making cover songs. You know, uh, then there's a scale of musician. That what kind of musicians are forming that industry. If you call singing a song on an app like Smule or TikTok,
Oh.
the industry is quite huge anyway. You know,
Hmm.
but I, or a person like me, or a person or a musician like me, do not belong to uh, that class, you
Hmm.
know, or that segment of so-called industry. So for somebody who is serious in music, the industry is very, very small.
Hmm.
uh, if I know possibly 150 singers in Melbourne,
Hmm.
uh, I ended up working with only two.
Oh.
The reason is because those two are the ones who are actually of this level, and the other ones are all, app singers,
Ah.
and cover singers. So I, as an original musician, I cannot analyze somebody from a cover song. you know
True.
it
Yeah.
is very different when you come with an original track and you come on mic. You can see the difference. One of the best singers, they go down.
Yeah.
It's a very difficult task. So coming back to your question again, there is no industry as such, but we all are trying to kind of form it. As long as there is original music and there would be more original, I would love to see more content from people. If even in every state there is one music producer who's producing at least 20-30 tracks a year,
Hmm.
putting out as an album or a project or whatever. Not even 20-30, I would say even just 15 for that matter. Even 12, one track a month is easily
It's
doable.
still. Yeah.
you know Getting collaborations, but it has to be original music. It has to be very striking, and it has to have poetry into it.
Yeah.
You can't come up with something which is of really crass level. There's this song in Punjabi. There's this artist who made this song, and it went 300 million plus,
Oh.
almost in 2 days. The track says, जितने की तू पूरी सजदी उतने मित्रा के बूट on there. Like, for whatever your total net worth value from top to bottom is, for that much money, my boots are worth more than you
Hmm.
as a woman. Okay, I fucking don't get it. In our society, where are we progressing? Are we saying, should I say this to my sister? Should I say this to my wife? Should I say this to my mother? That my boots are more expensive than your total fucking worth. you
Yeah.
know this is a original track, but I don't even call this originality.
Hmm.
And if you talk to these musicians, they're good big musicians,
Yeah.
with major record labels. If you talk to them, they would say, oh, look, we are just writing what we see in society. Well,
Yeah.
I don't see in society char botal vodka kaam mera roz ka. How many people? Look, I come from engineering background, right? And I have a network of at least 300 engineers spread across the world, and they're all big top-notch people. Okay,
Hmm.
and they are known for smoking in, because of
Yeah.
where we come from. Uh, but out of those 300, I've not seen even one who has char bottle vodka and kam mera roz ka. It is not our society. I don't know
Yeah.
which society they're talking about, but it is absolutely not our society. So even for when I say original music, people have to produce original music. They have to produce something sensible. They don't have to
Sense.
produce something which is crass and which is not representation of society. you know there's certain taboos that people have grown with. Like, if you put these two words, Allah and Maula, in any song, and it becomes Sufi song.
Sufi song. Oh yes. Yes.
can't,
Yeah.
why can't a Durga Stuti be Sufi? Why can't a Ram Stuti be Sufi? Why can't
Hmm.
why can't my promises that I made to my wife can be Sufi? What is the problem in that? Why can't Raksha Bandhan, why can't Rakhi be Sufi?
Yeah.
If Sufi, I don't know, if Sufi means spirituality, it can be found anywhere, then why
Hmm.
Allah Mawla is required in every song?
True.
So
True.
even from the perspective of creativity, we have to think through, what are we creating? What kind of music are we creating? Are we creating just for the sake of getting? I'll tell you a fact. It is very easy. It is very, very easy to get famous. It is the easiest thing to do.
Hmm.
Easiest thing to do. But to get famous with respect is a different thing. Okay. I
Yeah.
can start a song with two galis in Hindi and
Hmm.
I'll be famous within a second. It's a fact.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and I don't even need to produce it. you know if
True.
I use some bad words on this live feed, and you chop that and you run it on your Facebook feed, you will be famous. Everything would be, I'll be famous, you'll be famous, everybody would be famous. you know
True.
but the problem is the respect part of it, or the cultural part of it. We come from a culture. you know there are other people who, we're we live in Western world, but we are very different than the Western world. Western world doesn't touch the feet of their parent, we do.
We do. Yeah.
you know
Yeah.
no matter how many years you live here, you still go back and do this,
True. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
uh, for Westerners, fire means a campfire, just people sitting together and singing. For us, fire means the beginning of the god. You go back home, the first thing that your mother will serve you would be a thali, and there would be fire in it.
Hmm.
The connection, the sensitivity that you would find in that creativity, uh, we are different from rest of the world. Okay.
Yeah.
I said this 6 years back in one of my conversation at a corporate event, that there would be a day when the Western world would come up with something called turmeric latte. Okay, what it is? It is haldi ka doodh,
Haldi. Yeah.
right?
Yeah. And then it will
But
be so famous
and
for like
and it would be
absolutely
so
no
famous.
reason.
It is classy. It is classy. It is classy to be having turmeric
And then
latte. Yeah, yeah. You see, but
yeah.
if you're having haldi ka doodh, you are gamar. You are you are somebody who doesn't understand class.
Hmm.
This is what it is. Even for, when I say new content or new music or original music, it has to be written well, it has to be produced well, it has to be sung well.
Yeah.
And then it will start making a shift towards actually making an industry than just projects. Right now we're just in project phases. We're small project, nobody looks at us. you know
Yeah.
you try to do something, and then all of a sudden you get stuck with other stigmas. So
True.
that's a big hurdle that we got to cross.
That's true. And do you also feel that, like, let's say the music videos in Bollywood itself, they're trying to uh, portray something that they're not? Like, like these women dressed very provocatively, and the song lyrics go, eeny, meeny, miny, mo, baby come, baby go. And we're like, wait, what is happening? What's happening to the essence of music these days?
This is nothing but some pseudo level of intellectualism which appears on the video. Like, you and me are in Western world, and we both have been to Crown, and
Yeah, twice.
yeah. So if you've been to Crown, or any disc for that matter, uh, even there you don't find that much nudity.
I
you
know.
know
Yes, I agree. Yes, yeah.
People have their own boundaries, they're dancing, they're enjoying their life. So
True.
I don't know what kind of club life that Bollywood wants to show,
Hmm.
where even in gentlemen clubs, they're possibly the quietest venues in Melbourne. You will never see a fight happening in gentlemen club.
Hmm.
So I don't know what kind of image that these people want to portray. Uh, and it is certainly, I think there is a problem with the moral value in our cultural system,
Hmm.
especially in Indian cultural system. We kind of like uh, everything that is unapproachable and dirty. A flashy car, fucking, I'll never be able to buy a Jaguar.
Hmm.
But I want to see that jumping. I want to see that. I want to see those flashy girls, making those moves, and it just it just stimulate young generation, you know,
Yeah.
uh, which is okay from a marketing perspective, but which is very very wrong from value perspective,
Hmm.
because what you're serving is actually not society. Society is very different.
Yeah.
Society is beautiful. Society helps, is based on helping people, you know.
Hmm.
What would you do, Manasa, if you see an old man who's struggling with picking up his Coles bags from
Hmm.
grocery and is not able to walk? What would you do?
Definitely, I would go help him and probably drop him home.
So what is more important, to show your lipstick or show this gesture of yours, this value gesture of yours? You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
so objectifying women is a formula. You know,
Yeah.
and they would find it 10 times, 20 times. For example, last year there was this. Was it last year, maybe, or this year itself? There was this movie where they'd shown two gays kissing.
Oh,
Okay.
it was the Shubh Mangal Zyada
Yeah, yeah,
Sab.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. And now you, in more coming movies, you will see this formula as a hit, because they say, oh my god, this is a formula.
Hmm.
This has been existing for more than, thousands and thousands of years. There's
Yeah.
nothing new in it. Only the education part of it is new, that it is normal. Otherwise
Hmm.
there's nothing new in it. Okay.
Yeah. True.
And the whole perspective is drawn into in a wrong direction. So
Hmm.
the idea is that, present more, or they should present more realistic. And there are people who are doing it, but then again, if the end result is Bollywood, you would end up doing stuff which they like, not what
True.
you want to present.
True, true, rightly said. So now we discussed about Bollywood, right? So can we shift our focus a bit to TikTok, which is becoming such a big platform where anybody who has a smartphone these days is a star, and they do like any lip sync videos. Let's say tomorrow, even if I do a lip sync video for your song, and I show a bit of emotion, and it goes viral, like 4 3 million views.
Yeah.
So, how do you think TikTok has impacted the face of music?
See, TikTok put it like a technology piece. Okay. There was a time when music used to get recorded on cassettes.
Hmm.
Okay. So a big label would charge you money for producing those cassettes, in name of producing those cassettes. So all the money that you would pay, like 30, 40, 50 lakhs, whatever you pay to a music label to become an artist, they would charge it, invoice it in name of making those cassettes.
Yeah.
Okay. And then came Facebook and YouTube, and the,
Hmm.
the device disappeared, the CDs disappeared, everything disappeared. And then all you need is to be on a YouTube channel or on a Facebook feed.
Yeah.
Uh, this came as an empowerment to the artist. Now you can, like a person like me who couldn't make it to the so-called Bollywood stream, be it my conditions, or be it my situation, or whatever be, but I can still produce my music and take it to wherever I want it.
True.
Nobody can stop me. Uh, my Somebody recently mentioned my music as Bhagwa music.
Oh.
Was was
I was actually going to talk to you about criticisms as well. How do
Yeah,
you feel when you
yeah,
get criticized from you by for
yeah.
producing?
See, that's the point. When you open up yourself, you are open to criticism as well. Somebody called it Bhagwa music. I said, okay, fine. If you find that way,
Thank you.
uh, I, this is what I know, and this is what I'm going to produce.
Hmm.
Okay. If you have a problem with that, don't watch it.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So same thing happened with TikTok. Now TikTok gave the power of creating something, which is pre-mixed. So it's a pre-mixed drink. Okay,
Hmm.
so you don't have to mix this new vodka. It's like a cruiser. You open the bottle and it's ready to drink.
I like
Okay.
your analogy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you take it home, and then it's ready to drink. So the same idea is with TikTok. You install the app, and you are this close, very very close to making something good or bad, not the question.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's why you would see 80% of the rural, uh, you will see rural India on TikTok.
Hmm.
People who had no chance of thinking of dancing or singing or acting,
Yeah.
now they can do it. You know,
True.
uh, definitely some talent came out of it. You know, some people are really, really talented, but majority of them, they were just waiting for a technological piece to come into their life, and they could enter this so-called media thing, you know,
Hmm.
uh, which which ended up with a lot of bad content on
True.
TikTok or similar platforms. So
Yeah.
it's just a technological piece. You use it wisely or whatever way you want to do it, which is a very intelligent marketing tactic actually, to reach out to common person
Hmm.
rather than somebody who's already famous. Like Instagram is doing the same thing, but Instagram would reach out to celebrities first to
Yeah.
produce
True.
content rather than just general consumer. The focus is completely different. TikTok reversed this mechanism. They gave power to common people to produce something, which
Yeah.
ended up in wrong direction. Otherwise, it could have been used in a different
It
way as
could.
well. Yeah.
True. True. So, moving away from all these really like controversial topics, Mohit, what was the idea behind Melody Theatre? Why did you think of starting it?
The idea of Melody Theatre was just a collaborative platform. You know, I'm
Oh,
still looking for a lot of musicians and singers. I keep looking for them. The idea was that I could take original music out. That's it. Have one platform where I could get everyone. Now there are
yeah.
certain limitations being in Melbourne, and you know, if I was doing this in Delhi or Mumbai, you know, I would have more number of artists. Uh, but whatever be, I said rather than waiting for opportunity to come, I should create a platform myself.
Hmm.
Uh, uh, this is another thing that that struck me, that I learned some from someone in my family itself. When I was commenting on that guy who made that song, the boot guy,
Yeah.
uh, right? A lot of people are capable of making that comment, but they shouldn't be making that comment, because my question to them would be, what have you done about it?
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
so saying this easy, it's just like watching Sachin Tendulkar on the pitch and say this is a wrong shot. He should have played it like the other way.
Yeah.
So that is the situation where most artists are, that they would
Hmm.
comment, but they would not certainly do this. So I didn't want it to be in that situation.
Hmm.
Now, with Melody Theatre, my point was that look, music can also be into this form. Music can also be explained and expressed
Hmm.
into this form, and there is possibility of representing yourself or representing your voice and soul. So it's
Yeah.
not just boom boom and beats and uh, skirts and jaguars and stuff like that. There's also a different way where music is more important than the visuals,
Yeah.
and that
True.
was the whole idea. So we producing a lot of music which is culturally influenced,
Hmm.
a lot of stories from Ramayana, Mahabharat, stuff like that. There's also some light music which is coming up probably next season. But yes, the first phase has been heavily influenced with our culture. By culture, I mean people who have been our actual real heroes. You know, people like Bhagat Singh.
Oh,
A lot of people know his name, but they don't know the story.
story. Yeah.
The guy gave his life at the age of 23, and he achieved so much at 23, what you and me put together cannot achieve in 50 years. His
Yeah.
writings, his ideas, So when we go to, you talk about revolution, and, in Western history or in the world history, in classes, people will teach Martin Luther King.
Hmm.
Martin Luther King is possibly not even half of Bhagat Singh, stature wise, or in terms of what they achieved, but nobody's talking about it, and possibly for new generation, nobody knows Batukeshwar Dutt. Who was Batukeshwar Dutt? Okay, Manasa, do you know who was Batukeshwar Dutt? See,
Unfortunately, not.
that's the bigger problem. Batukeshwar Dutt was the guy who went with Bhagat Singh in the parliament for the bomb attack.
Wow.
So they were both at the same level, okay, but then there's a marketing element to it. Bhagat Singh went up, and Batukeshwar Dutt died without any money in his pocket, with nothing. his whole family vanished without any name and fame. So I just want to cover this cultural aspect of us, coming from various angles. And right now we're producing just in Hindi, but we're soon going to be start producing in Tamil and Telugu, where
Oh,
we're looking for some writers. And as soon as we get them, there are brilliant stories across India. There are brilliant stories everywhere. Uh, so that's what we're trying to achieve with Melody Theatre.
that's amazing. That's beautiful. Thank you for like educating me a bit as well, what history books fail to do a bit in India. Mohit, before we wrap up, I didn't realize that it's almost going to be an hour since we started talking. If you can just play the songs that you have planned out for us, because there are a lot of people eagerly waiting to listen to you.
Sure, sure. So this song is a very close to my heart track. This is from one of my previous album, and the name of the track is called "Meri Mohabbat Ka Naam Ho Tum." It's a very simple tune and very simple words. But if you have ever been in love, you'll be able to kind of connect with it. मेरी मोहब्बत का नाम हो तुम, मेरी इबादत का नाम हो तुम, मेरी मोहब्बत का नाम हो तुम, मेरी इबादत का नाम हो तुम। रा, 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 रे, 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 रा, रे, रे, दूर से आई साथ जलाई बिरहा में भीगी गाठी लाल चुनरिया देख के तोरी छूट गई मुँह से माटी कुछ तो कहे नैना बावरे हो सावरे पिया आजा मोरे सामने हो सावरे पिया मेरी मोहब्बत का नाम हो तुम मेरी इबादत का नाम हो तुम मेरी मोहब्बत का नाम हो तुम मेरी इबादत का नाम हो तुम.
Brilliant, brilliant. That was amazing. I would say, I think the right word would be to say soulful.
Thank you so much. And it's also spiritual in a way. You can listen to the song in reference of God as well. It can be a Meera bhajan, Meera singing for Bhagwan Shri Krishna. It could be anything.
Yeah.
You just have to find your own reference and connect with it.
True, true. So, Mohit, it was absolutely an amazing and delightful conversation that you and me had. But before I just conclude the show itself, a word of advice from you for upcoming artists or even just the music industry in general.
Look, I'm no one to give an advice, to be honest, but the only thing I would say is, whosoever is listening to this, if you're an artist, please start doing original music. The only way we can pressurize the so-called industry to get into original music is by producing more content. If there are 3,000 original musicians floating around, there is no way Bollywood can ignore. It would be exactly like, you know it's like a milestone. You put something in front of, or you bring something on the table. What do you bring on table? Oh, okay, I bring 2 tracks, I bring 4 tracks. But when this community put together bring 3,000, 5,000 tracks on the table, there is no way that at least, I would say, bare minimum 10% of 5,000 songs would be 50 tracks going viral.
Yeah.
And that would be completely independent. You don't need to sign to a label. You don't need to do anything. Do whatever it takes, whatever you can do with it. You can make videos by mobile phones. You can do whatever. Just make sure the sound is right, your music is right, and push more and more original content. Just I'm not saying stop making covers, but if you are an artist, if you call yourself an artist, make sure that you do original music. That's it.
Beautiful, rightly said. Thank you so much, Mohit. I
Thank you
hope
so much
you
for having me.
stay safe during lockdown and keep producing amazing music.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And you also keep safe. And it was lovely talking to you.
It was amazing. Thank you, everyone who tuned in and watched and listened to our conversation. And please take Mohit's advice, even though he claims he's not that big. He's amazing. He's super talented. Please do check out his Facebook page and listen to his soulful music. And guess what? MeTV is also coming up with another show, which is starting off this Friday. And it's going to target a lot of Telugu speaking people. So if all of you are listening out there, just watch out because MeTV is all about the fun and it always takes an oath to entertain people. So until then, all of you stay safe. I'll see you all next week.
హాయ్ హలో నమస్తే అందరికీ ముందుగా రాబోయే శ్రీ వరమహాలక్ష్మి శ్రావణ మాస శుభాకాంక్షలు. ఇదేంటి ముందుగా చెప్పేసింది అనుకుంటున్నారా? ఈ లాక్డౌన్ టైంలో రోజులన్నీ ఇట్టే గడిచిపోతున్నాయండి. చూస్తూ శ్రావణ మాసం కూడా రానే వచ్చేస్తుంది. అయినా మీరందరూ కొత్త కొత్త చీరలు, పూజా సామాగ్రి షాపింగ్ ఆల్రెడీ స్టార్ట్ చేసే ఉంటారు కదా. కానీ అయ్యో లాక్డౌన్, ఈసారి ఇంటికి ఎవరిని పిలవలేమే అని నిరుత్సాహపడుతున్నారా? మీరే నిరుత్సాహపడదు. అందుకోసమే మీ ఛానల్ మీకు ఈ సదవకాశాన్ని ఇస్తుంది. మీరు మీ శ్రావణ శుక్రవారాన్ని ఎలా జరుపుకున్నారో, మీ అమ్మవారిని ఎంత బాగా అలంకరించున్నారో మీరు మాతో షేర్ చేసుకోవాలనుకుంటే ఈ క్రింది లింక్ ద్వారా మీ డీటెయిల్స్ రిజిస్టర్ చేసుకోండి. ఇది ఒక వర్చువల్ లైవ్ ప్రోగ్రామ్. దీనికి ఎవరైనా ఎక్కడి నుండైనా అప్లై చేయొచ్చు. సో ఈ శ్రావణ మాసం మీ ఇంట్లో మాతో మీ ఛానల్లో.